Our featured poet for this morning is Z.M. Wise. Z.M. is a proud Illinois native from Chicago, poet, essayist, occasional playwright, seldom screenwriter, co-editor, and arts activist, writing since his first steps as a child. He is co-owner and co-editor of Transcendent Zero Press, an independent publishing house for poetry that produces an international quarterly journal known as Harbinger Asylum. He is the author of 7 books and chapbooks of published poetry, as well as a one-act play. His most recent chapbook, The Nightmare Mask, is being published by Full Moon Inc. Other than these books, his poems, lyrics, essays, and book reviews have been published in various journals, magazines, and anthologies. Besides poetry and other forms of writing, his other passions include professional voice acting, singing, songwriting, playing a few instruments, fitness, and reading. Please welcome me in joining Z.M. Wise.
So I'm terribly sorry. I'm a bit tardy. Picked up a hitchhiker on the way over here, and well, you got him when you hit him.
Are you getting catty cornered with this?
Yeah, if anybody's wondering about this, I've never had a sense of fashion growing up, and I just do my best if I dress in the dark. But I have 2 names for this. It's either lockdown style or easy target, your choice. I'm going to start off by reading my favorite Octavio Paz poem, which Dustin has heard before. It's called Dawn. I'm going to be reading the original Spanish first, and then the English translation. Amanecer. Años fríos y rápidos retroceden una a una. Los vendajes de la oscuridad. Abro los ojos. Todavía estoy viviendo en el centro de una herida aún fresca. And the English translation. Dawn. Cold, rapid hands draw back one by one the bandages of dark. I open my eyes, still. I am living at the center of a wound still fresh. And then I've written quite a few of these miniature, what I call flyer poems. I used to work at this terrible, terrible place, and part of my job was cutting these flyers into fourths, and I took 4 different stacks with me and made these little books of flyer poems. They're usually unstructured. The only structured pieces become songs, and other than that, it's what I call a great, refreshing exercise in return to more traditional or experimental form. So besides the songs, I don't really title them, I just number them. So this is number 236. Screaming open-mouthed in Arctic darkness, you return to the time of suspension, age of ice, epoch of frozen thought, metaphysical metal, golden and tamed, claims the throat of those who speak its true, unidentifiable names. The alchemy of third eye kissing from a sky of stone, people awash with monotonous tones, their accursed monogamous flaunting, 8 rings to practice the taunting, spirits eternal students to cease haunting, broken flowers become his old flames. And this one's more traditional, lyrical, I suppose, and it's just called The Moth. Number 223, The Moth. Psyche in a negative photograph, tailored to fit any philosopher's hypothesis, nocturnal emission of spectral plasm, all congregating around the lamplights illuminating bliss. The moth sees only the floodgates of the moon, the main attraction behind shrouded clouds, here to tell you off, scathing moth. The moth hears only the flapping of predatory wings, the sonar screecher who stands out in a crowd, here to tell you off, scheming moth. Guru moth, where will you take me? To the other inverted tree rings. Soldier moth, what are we fighting for? Weapons, ladies, won over the hearts of soulless kings. Surrender before iron gods, Moth hammer obliterates the odds. Black queen of winged feet casts a spell over the children of misguided steps, a lifespan of incantations, precious beyond the mating call death's head left. The moth has menacing eyes on its back, blinking when facetious mammals dare to strike. Here to write you off, merciful moth. The moth sings of its bipedal ancestor, 7 feet in height, deceased yet lifelike. Here to write you off, your son moth. Elder moth, what say your wisdom about love, derivative adventures, fleeting moments? Cynic moth, is there any semblance of hope? Abandon all light and burn yourself with sentiment. And away it soars into the insect ether. Take this night as your lover, passing creature. And then, in honor of Black History Month, I'm going to read one poem from the current book I'm reading, Poetry of Haitian Independence. And what's great about some of these books are the bilingual translations. The original language on the left, which is French, and then on the left, on the right, it is English. And one in particular, let me get a short piece. And a handful of these pieces have been written by anonymous people as I've been reading in the introduction. And I just love that mystery behind these words. Who on earth described this? So it's and a lot of these pieces are titled after the first line. So by anonymous, as his namesake sought to do. As his namesake sought to do, Henry shall enhance the lots of poor warriors tried and true, with a hen in every pot. Haitians we, with generous hand, shall befriend humanity, as each European land seeks our friendship eagerly, as each European land seeks our friendship eagerly. Haiti, dry your tears, avast misery and woe, no more! Under our great king at last, naught but fair days lie in store. May Marie, sweet queen of heaven, and our own, bestow her grace, and for all her favors given, ever praised be by our race, and for all her favors given, ever praised be by our race. It was written in 1814. And now back to your regular scheduled program. Flyer poem 177. Call her clay. Stiffened Messiah names a line of blackish gray. Throb and bleed for us, blood from the stone. Carry Atlas's weight. Call her iron. Welded pariah claims a trapezoid of regurgitating green. Ache and long for us. Long white on a mirror, inhale milk powder. Sprint across obsidian oceans. What if she never sniffed? And this is a more lyrical piece. I can never really pin a genre of music in my head whenever I create a song. All I know is that my vocals are meant for softer pieces. For this particular piece, I pictured something gothic. And it's called The Black Dreams of God. Pissant walks to the beat of a different drum, reciting fragmented psalms to an empty congregation. Insignificant singer dulls words down to a dim hum, draining the lives of another 21st century sensation. And she finds herself falling from a rooftop, purgatorial repetition on her skin, the circles of crops. And he finds himself succumbing to the mundane, death mask coming to life as a madcap insane. Bat heads boil under cauldron bubbles, supersonic screeches struggle with flightless wings, sacrifice the skies to thunderous applause, post-atomic hand bursts through the rubble, bowing before an army of skeletal kings. Greetings to the creatures of pacifism who retract their claws. At last, Acceptance comes to greet you with the faces of angelic ancestors. Avalon-like mists surround their guardian mouths to choose your book of literary predecessors. Gliding acrobats, the servants in white, blossom from the flower buds of ascension. Traveling show, sir, kiss the seasonal ring belonging to a parallel spirit dimension. We are but mere symbols tangled in some obscure affair. Take the black dreams of God and turn them into a heavenly nightmare. Like a sacrificial storm of Nile children whine, I blush maroon in reply to her kiss. Transcending the solitudinarian's need to be confined, I commit to 88 more golden years of second-hand bliss. Visions of watery deserts making waves with sand monsoons, fields of lovers swept away by an envious typhoon. One tongue of Albion speaks Blakean praise to Jerusalem. Devils lost a morning star to the glowing air of Bethlehem. Walking across meadows of the blinding sky, daylight turns a blind eye to a green pyramid. Swimming under polychromatic kaleidoscope visions, does this realm feel any different to those who lie? A new motif for imagination so vivid. A new prison for a chaotic mind that lacks precision. Wax and fog, fog and wax. Grounded broom clouds collect their followers, the earthen accolades. Only one guru shrouded in bearded tears will know the anticlimactic kiss of the cobra's blades. Stepping out into the fray of bloodlust, the one who succumbs to glory, oh, resistance, fighter. The pen was no mightier than the sword, so saith the lone prolific prophecy writer. Date the continued end of a neo-futurist poem. Turn these black dreams of God to picturesque statue stone. How am I doing on time? Cool. And let's turn this off. And just a couple from my current notebook. While I'm finding one. Some of you may know this. Besides poetry and lyrics and certain forms of prose, for the past few years I've been writing what are called Vanity Quotes, and the reason why I call them that is because I feel so arrogant in quoting myself, just writing it down. That's a good one. Yeah. So it could either be a piece of wisdom or a slight quip. So here's one for you. Most doctors in training attend medical school. Plastic surgeons, on the other hand, only attend collagen. So. So, good talk, good talk. So here's something a little lighthearted. The somewhat controversial issue on the right to die. Over the years, I've been reading more about Jack Kevorkian, and growing up, I thought, like many others, that he was absolutely barbaric in his ways, but as I get older, his ways seem to make more sense. Dying is the last thing you ever do. Why shouldn't it be a graceful and blissful process? And he provided these machines that were supposed to go into mass production to help people who truly saw no other way, and it's called the Thanatron. It's a very interesting device. There's no violence involved, and so it's just a slightly spiritual piece about the machine itself. So Thamatron. I pass with grace. My immobile ship sails to the east, leaving the parasitic needles and Western contraptions to disintegrate into biomechanical sparks of flesh. You desire my span of attention, undivided amongst the misty lot of you, yet my masochistic stethoscope reads otherwise. Fuck your ethics into a sporadic coma. Take your residual pipes and let them taste reckoned fodder until death no longer desires you. My decaying mindset can no longer tolerate your systematic torch you carry in my honor. My decomposing motor functions can no longer wipe away your sincerity tears on my scar tissue. Your verbal vice grip on the strings of my heart snapped from sudden codependency. Let me dream another way. Let me taste her sumptuous evenings. Let me sense his fate of belonging. Let me live as blissfully as a blooming jasmine. Let me summon the will to create your faith. Let me die another way. Thanatron, extracting a god from the machine. Thanatron, instrument of death. Thanatron, instrumental savior. Thanatron, replacing sights with tenderness. Thanatron, son of Jack in the hands of time. Thanatron, daughter of integrity's gateway. Ritualistic leaves of the maple, I lay me down among the wolves, counting their prey. Green vibrations sent to my weeping aura before the flora which I digested. Take me back to land on pastures. Thanatron, though your injection is lethal, I can slumber with assisted reapers, their skeletal finger bones caressing my temples. My body, in their unprecedented care, is a temple falling to ruin, yet reconfigured rubble. Saline beginnings, the resolution is absolute. Sodium thiopental for the dripping sleep. Fading into another spherical memory, the wanderlust of temporary adaptation. Potassium chloride to suspend my animated heart. An African drum no more, for the stampede has stopped to graze on the remains. I kiss your forehead of miracles, Jack of all shades. Forever is a wormhole of 36 doors. For no other afterlife I would trade. I pass with grace, I pass. And last but not least, so this is shorter. I'm writing a 10-part song cycle on ayahuasca and the journey behind it. And of course, this is one of those many pieces where, even though you haven't experienced it yourself, this is your interpretation of it. And because I love the hell out of playing with words, I changed it to the state, Iowa, and then the genre of music, ska. So this is part 1, Lamentation/Lamentation. And it starts out with half of a quote in Spanish. Nunca fue mía. And it's translated to never my own. In the Midwestern symphony of nothingness, overlooking the phantasmal field of adolescent dreams, in the oligarchy's kingdom of death tides anonymous, guarded by the forbidden shield of banished screams, I am the prophet of my own adulterated psyche, an ocean's faint echo of an empty shell. I am bound to no other prisoner but my mind, a cylindrical whirlwind leading me to my own rendition of hell. Play me some Iowa ska, so that my tempestuous breath may calm. Play me some Iowa ska, until the tome of probable futures reads itself in the center of my palm. Thank you all very much. Hope you live long live the arts.
Thank you for that.
Thank you all.
Well, I'm hypnotized by the words, and I think I'm also hypnotized by the glasses. Combination.
As long as you're not seeing cats.
But Zach said it best. He loves playing with words, and I think that's the thing poetry provides. We go through life, I think, each day trying our best to be as logical as we can to make sense